Okay, so this is filling out the Lotus chart for Chapter 3 review. We're going to start with this top corner up here. I think 8th period class should have this all figured out. I think maybe I'm just recording this for Tegan. Yeah. I think everybody else in 5th period was here. So we're going to start with 3-1. We're going to fill in important information. Also have your review sheet handy because we are going to reference some of those problems and even put some of them on your Lotus chart. So I'm basically giving you some of those answers, all right? So in section 3-1, I'm going to zoom in. We're going to write important information down. Okay, section 3-1, if you look at the middle of the Lotus chart, section 3-1 was graphing. Graphing. Okay, what does the graph of a quadratic function look like?
Like a spooky ghost if it's negative.
Like a what? Like a spooky ghost?
If it's negative.
What do you call the shape of it?
It's a parabola.
It's a parabola. A parabola. That's what each one of these is going to look like, and I need a new pen. So, this is like number 2 on your sheet. Okay, number 2, we're going to do together. I'm going to do number 2 straight through.
Like a different color.
And that's what number 2 says. Okay, x squared plus 2x minus 8. This is number 2.
Whoa, we're struggling.
All right. Now, what are some things that we need to know or find in order to graph this thing? What are some new things? That's in section 3-2, so we don't get to that yet. What are some things?
Y-intercept.
The vertex. Okay, so I'm going to do the vertex down here. And I'm going to do what else?
Axis of symmetry.
Y-intercept. And I'm going to do axis of symmetry down here. Okay. AOS. I'm also going to talk about max and min as well, because it asks you some questions about that on your review sheet. So we're going to do max, min, vertex, y-intercept. We're going to do them all with this function. So this is completing number 2 off of your review. So as soon as you write this down, you have the answer. You just have to copy it onto your sheet. Okay, so to find the vertex, let's do that first. What's the equation for finding the vertex?
Negative b over 2a.
Right, negative b over 2a. Okay, you should have that memorized by now, but if you don't, there it is. And then how do you find the y-coordinate after you found negative b over 2?
It's just minus 8.
Nope, that's the y-intercept.
Oh,
right,
plug it back in.
This guy you plug in. You plug him in. Okay, so let's do that to this so that you can see how this works. So negative b over 2a, right? Negative 2 over 2 times 1.
Oh, shoot, I wrote it in the wrong box. Do you know why now?
That's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can write them all over the place. Doesn't matter. Okay, equals. What's negative b over 2a? What does that come out to be? Negative 1. You're right, negative 1 comma something, right? We've got to plug it back in to find the other something, right?
So you're going to take negative 1 squared,
right?
Which is 1 minus 2.
Plus 2 times negative 1 minus 8. Equals.
I am not so
So
far
you're going to get,
Okay, so negative 1 squared is 1.
Negative
Minus 2 minus 8.
negative 9.
Negative 9. So my vertex is negative 1, negative 9. Okay? All right, I'm going to graph him up here because I'm going to run out of room. So negative 1, negative 9 is all the way down here. That's my vertex. Okay? Now, let's do the axis of symmetry. Okay, axis of symmetry next. What is your axis of symmetry?
It's just going to be the y,
X
of your thing.
It is x equals negative 1 because it comes right from this number right here. X equals negative 1 comes straight from that thing. Okay? All right? Because your axis of symmetry, that dotted line has to go through your vertex. He's going to be this dotted line right here. All the way through. That's what he looks like. Okay? Nope, that's me. All right, now the y-intercept. Okay, you guys have a shortened way of finding the y-intercept. What is the?
It's negative 8.
It's negative 8, right? You just plug 0 in for the x's, but negative 8 is the y-intercept. So he comes up here and he touches at negative 8. Okay, then I also know that he's going to touch over here at negative 8 on the same side. And do you see what my parabola looks like?
It looks like a parabola.
It looks like a parabola, like that. There you go. That's what he looks like. Okay, now let's talk about max and min for just a second. Okay, max or min? Is it going to have a max or a min?
It's going to have a min.
It's going to have a min. When he smiles, he's going to have a min. When he frowns, he's going to have a max. Now, what is the minimum value?
Negative 9.
Negative 9. We don't care about the x. We're only caring about the absolute lowest he goes, which is negative 9. Make sense?
Sure.
Happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, great. That's it. So finding those things with an equation, this is the solution for number 2. But then you also have this as a model for your test. Now, again, I will say to you, if you don't understand where that stuff is coming from, this is not going to perform magic for you when you take this test on Wednesday. Okay? Don't expect that to magically speak to you if you have no idea what we just did, right? It's not going to help. All right, in section 3.2, 3.2 is solving quadratic functions by graphing. So we're using kind of the same stuff over in 3.1, and we're finding the solution. So when solving, I'm going to write, what are you finding?
The roots.
You are finding the roots?
Maybe.
You are finding roots. What else are they called?
Zeros.
Zeros. What else?
X-intercepts.
X-intercepts. And what's the last name for him?
I don't know.
Solutions. So any one of those things, if it asks for any one of those things, a solution, a root, or a zero, or an x-intercept, they all mean the same thing. You're trying to find the place where he crosses. So using this information, the place where he's going to cross is these two places right here. Okay? Now that doesn't give me exact places unless I graph him really nicely. Right? Doesn't give me an exact place, but I can plug some points in and figure out exactly where he's at. So I could have a couple different scenarios happen, right? I could have this happen where he has two places where he crosses. I could have him only cross once right here, or I could have him cross none. In which case, what does he look like?
No solution. It's floating.
It's floating, like either on the top or on the bottom, something like that maybe. Okay? Can he have three places where he crosses?
No.
No, because then he would have to come back down, right?
And that would be x cubed.
That would be x cubed, right? So, I'm going to put graph with same info from 3.1 and find the zeros. So you might have to do the vertex, or the AOS, or the y-intercepts. And then that will help you to graph him and find the zeros. Does that make sense? I'm not going to read through all of this information over here because it's kind of the same thing. Okay? All right, good, good. Section 3.3 was complex numbers. What were complex numbers? I.
No, those are imaginary.
Those are imaginary numbers. They're both like imaginaries are parts of complex numbers. Yeah. Okay. I and I squared. You betcha. Okay, what is I equivalent to?
-1. Square root of -1.
The square root of -1. Okay. Now what is I squared then?
-1.
Just -1. You betcha. Those are the two very, very important things to remember from this section. Yeah. There you go.
That's it.
Yep. Oh, well, I'm going to do some problems. Okay, so looking at this sheet. Okay, looking at this sheet. Let's talk about like number 7. I to the 55th power. How do you simplify I to the 55th power?
Well, you see, it's you make it divided. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's gonna be 1 or -1, or I or -I.
Right. It's only one of those 4 answers.
It's either
1, -1, I, -I.
But since it's an odd
exponent,
she said that's not always true.
What?
It's still -I.
If it's odd.
If it's an odd exponent, it will always involve I or -I. If it's an even exponent, then it's going to be 1 or -1, right? But we don't know which one it is. So this one's going to either be I or -I, but we don't know for sure which one it is, okay? So separate him out. I to the 54th times I to the 1st power. That's what he's going to look like, okay?
Why?
54 and 1. Because 54 is divisible by 2, and we know what I squared is, right?
It's -1.
Yeah, right? I squared. So 54 is like I squared to what power? What do I have to take I squared to get 54?
54 divided by 2.
Which is? What's 54 divided by 2?
2?
50 divided by 2 is 25. What's 54 divided by 2?
26.
27. So this is to the 27th power. And then times I, right? because we still have that I hanging off to the side. So this I to the 54th power comes down as I squared to the 27th, and then I just stays as I. He's just tagging along for the ride, okay? Now we know that I to the second power is -1, okay? And if I take -1 times itself 27 times.
It's going to be 1. -1.
-1 times itself 27 times is an odd number, right? So that's -1 times I, which is just -I. Does that make sense? Okay, so
Not really.
just reduce him as I squared to some power.
Wait, what number is this?
Number 7. That's the answer to number 7.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, then other things like number 8. Let's go to number 8. I'm gonna talk about these real quick on your sheet here because this is the biggest mistake that Algebra 2 kids make when it gets to I's.
Do I make this mistake?
Okay. All right. Biggest mistake. Look at number 8.
Oh no, I'm gonna fall.
What are they asking you to do on number 8?
Subtract. Subtract. Because it's wait, are they asking us to distribute the negative?
Number 8.
I don't know.
Are you multiplying those two things together?
No.
No.
Yes.
You're subtracting. Okay. You are subtracting. Okay. But I have Algebra 2 kids all the time. Algebra 2 kids all the time see that, and then they start to distribute. They start to foil.
Oh, I do that. I do that.
No, don't do that. Don't foil. This is saying minus. You're subtracting those two.
Well,
Okay?
why are they in parentheses then? That's just
Because you're subtracting those two things. Okay. But minus. What do you do with the minus?
You distribute it.
No, make it positive. You make everything else the opposite.
Well, kind of, yeah. So this guy.
This is going since you're not doing anything.
And I can. Okay, distribute the negative. Write it out. Go.
What?
I don't know.
I thought she just told me not to do that.
It's -38 plus 45. Hi, Oscar.
Let's just not do it wait till she gets back. Sounds
It's
cool.
-38 plus 45.
You see, but
It's
48
not good.
is not 38. So that
It's our group chat. Good.
I don't know.
It's -48.
I don't care.
I don't want to see that.
Charlie,
I bet you $20 on my.
Okay, I don't care. I wasn't here for this lesson. No, I wasn't here for this lesson.
I wasn't here for like the first 5 lessons.
Okay, but me too because I was sick for
It's -30.
I
I was in the gone.
Yeah, and then
Carly,
whenever
let me
she
see
was
your
gone, I
name.
didn't really watch the videos that she
Is it a
showed us,
mermaid?
since I don't know
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
it is.
it is a mermaid. How'd you guess
Not
it?
gonna lie.
Because I'm smart. Hey Tegan, I hope you get better.
Oh yeah, so you can still on here.
Is it actually recording now?
Yeah.
Ugly.
Carly's being naughty.
What? She's been better worse than that in Spanish.
No, I don't know.
On the live video I sent
I
on,
don't know.
when we did the batteries up,
Yeah.
they were recording the game
Oh, we were recording for volleyball. I said,
All right. Okay. Oh, we're still recording. Sorry, Tegan. I hope you skipped through that.
Oh.
Distribute the negative.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Nothing.
I don't. We were.
Okay, now
You.
10 plus 15i stays. We stays the same, but what happens to the rest of it?
We were
Negative?
confused.
Negatives, right? Okay, so this
Not
becomes
really, we just-
negative 48, and then what?
Plus 30i.
Plus 30i, and then what?
That's it. Oh, you the elect term, so it's 40i.
Wait, 10 and negative 48.
45i.
No,
38. -38.
negative 38.
And
This
then
is where you get the 40i from,
45i.
or 45i. Plus 45i, right? There you go, there's that. Okay, good? Now, number 9. Let's talk about number 9 real fast.
Wait. That's it?
Wait, that's it. That's all. That's all.
Yeah.
And then I have Algebra 2 kids who on the test are trying to foil and make that harder than it is.
I was
Oh,
gonna
that's
say,
me.
You are subtracting.
Because I didn't
Don't
really
do that.
pay attention
Okay.
to the video.
Yeah.
Really.
Number 9. Number 9. What are they asking you to do on number 9? You
You're
are adding them, right? So you're adding them. So basically this stays the same as what it is. 5 minus 2i plus Well, really, minus 13, because plus a negative 13 doesn't do anything. Minus 8i, then you combine like terms. You do that part, okay?
Wait, what? Plus 13?
So
Plus
it's minus 13. It's minus 13.
So then all you have to do is
Because plus
minus-
negative makes negative, right?
So then
And then minus 8,
so
right?
So the plus
Negative
is there for
8.
nothing?
Really, kind of, yeah. Because when you distribute a negative, just like we did with, or excuse me, we distribute a positive, just
You
like we
did
did
not
with the negative. Just wait.
The positive.
Well, yeah, but what's a positive times a negative 13?
negative.
Still negative 13. What's a positive times a negative 8?
So
Or
it's
negative 8.
negative
So
8.
you really are distributing that positive, or the plus, but it just doesn't change the sign of the two, right?
So it's
Okay. So then you
negative 8 minus 10i.
Minus
correct.
13
Yep.
is 8.
What about
Okay.
when you're multiplying it?
Okay, now we'll put on 11. Let's multiply on 11. Okay,
I thought we were still doing this one.
you do it. You do it. Combine like terms. It's not hard. You finish number 9. Okay, I'm gonna do number 11 with you, and we're gonna put it on your sheet. So 11 is gonna go here. 7 plus 2i times
Wait, what?
9 minus 6i. 7 plus 2i minus 9 minus 6i. Okay? How do I know that I need to multiply?
Because
They're
don't have a
next
plus
to each
or a
other.
They're like right next to each other. There's no plus and minus separating them. Okay? So keep that in mind. I have a lot of people that try to do the wrong operation when they're supposed to multiply or when they're supposed to add. Okay? Make sure you're paying attention to that information. How do I multiply this together?
Foil.
Foil. F-O-I-L. Okay? So I take 7 times 9. That's 63 to start with. Okay? Then what do I multiply together next?
Wait, what number?
2i and 9.
This is
No.
number 11.
2i and 9.
Nope.
Now 2i.
The outsides. We did the first pieces, the outsides.
Duh, 7 and negative 6.
7 and negative 6, which is
Negative 42.
negative 42i. Okay, next, I did the insides. What are the insides?
2i and 9.
2i and 9, which makes
18i.
18i. And then 2i and negative 6. Okay, be careful. What is
I
2i?
swear.
Just wait. What's 2i times negative 6i?
Negative 12i squared.
Negative 12i squared. All right, I'm going to get my other color out. I haven't used any other colors yet. I squared. That guy needs to be reduced. What do we know that I squared is?
Negative 1.
This guy is negative 1. Okay,
So
so
12 times negative 1?
which is
Wow, positive.
positive 12. So I'm going to make that positive 12, and I'm going to get rid of the negative 1.
So then you have.
Okay,
So you
and
can
now I
combine that
combine
with
like
63.
terms.
So 12.
So 63 and 12 can combine, which is
51.
no,
no,
it's a positive 12
70,
now.
75.
75.
I don't know how to do
70,
math.
70, I'm 75.
Shut up.
75. Okay, then I can put the middle two pieces together.
42
Negative 42
plus 18.
plus 18.
30.
No, it's going to be
20. I don't know.
24.
You betcha. Negative 24i. There we go. And that's it, right? You're foiling. Okay? All right, last example in this section that I'm going to do is number 14. So if you're looking at number 14, here's number 14. 4.
Whoa, Nelly, we're going too fast.
Whoa, Nelly.
Switch my colors, man.
Oh no, let's just take another.
Okay? 4m squared plus 64 equals 0. This is in the I section, so it's going to involve an I, right? Going to involve an I. So how do I solve for m?
Divide everything. Or no, reciprocal?
No.
Nope.
I had like Marcus, he wanted to use negative b over 2, or like he wanted to use the quadratic formula, negative b plus minus blah blah blah. I said you can use that, but this is faster.
Find equal.
Get m by itself. Can you get m by itself?
Yes, subtract 64.
Okay, let's do that first.
So stupid.
Subtract 64. This is faster. Subtract 64. Ooh, I'm running out of room. 4m squared equals 0 minus 64 is negative 64, and then what?
Divide by 4.
Sure, divide by 4, okay? Divide by 4. So m squared, I'm going to write over here. I'm running out of room. M squared equals what?
64 divided negative 64 divided by 4.
Negative
13.
16. 64 divided by 4 is 16. Okay, and then what?
Square root.
You take the square root.
Wait,
Okay,
But you can't because it's negative, so therefore,
right?
you
So,
gotta break her down.
what does the square root of a negative do?
Becomes an I.
he becomes an I, right? Okay, so this is going to involve an
Oh my
I,
gosh,
right?
Yeah, because yeah.
Yeah, because yeah. Okay, so the negative inside the square root becomes an I. He pops up, okay?
It's gonna be
And the square root of 16.
4. So it's just 4i.
It's 4I.
so that means that number
But-
12 is 6i.
Just wait, but yes. But you're only half right. Because who inserted the square root? Was the square root already there? No. Like on number 12, the square root's already there, so it's just
6i.
yes, just 6I. But this one needs
A square root. The square root is 6i.
no
Oh, wait.
No. plus minus. This one needs plus minus. You betcha. Isaac's on a roll now. Plus minus.
Well,
4I.
I'm
You
so
betcha.
glad we have smart people
Okay,
in our
good,
class.
good. There's that. All right. Okay, moving on. So that was the I section, right? Now moving on to 3-4. Okay, 3-4. We have difference of no. We have GCF. I'm gonna do GCF first. I'm gonna do difference of squares. I'm gonna do simple trinomial, and I'm gonna do a complex trinomial. Okay, so we're gonna do one of each of those. But before we do that,
Wait, what?
this is section 3-4, and I'm doing 3-4 in both pieces because there's a lot. There's 4 different ways of factoring, right?
Can I
Those
write
four.
my...
Now I'm putting them here and here because I want to do a problem up above here before we start that. Okay. Before we start that, I'm gonna do number 17 with you, which says that my zeros or my roots are
I'm losing track of what numbers are what.
-5 and 8. Right? A polynomial.
Yeah, how?
Okay, so this is the question. It says my roots are, I'm going to zoom into this one. My roots are -5 and 8. They want me to write a polynomial. Okay, so what does that mean?
A polynomial, those are things in science.
Polynomials are like the x squared plus something x
Oh.
plus something, right? We want to write a polynomial.
These are polynomials.
My roots are -5 and 8. So how does that help me?
What?
My roots are -5 and 8. So how does that help me?
We're gonna make it.
This means x equals -5 and x equals 8, in other words, right? What do they look like in parentheses?
Comma something, comma something.
No.
So
Oh,
If x equals -5, x equals 8, what are my parentheses looking like? We go back the other direction.
minus 5 plus 8. What?
plus 5.
Plus 5 minus 8.
X plus 5, x minus 8, right? We use the opposite symbol.
Is this a number on one of our things?
Yes, this is number 17. This is number 17. Now, how do I get my polynomial from there?
I don't know. Oh, you foil?
You FOIL, right? Okay, x times x. Start with x times x. X squared. Okay, then what do you multiply?
Stop.
The outsides. I'll do FOIL. FOIL.
Outsides are x and x, so it's x.
No. So x squared, that's the first pieces. The outsides are
Oh, negative that. 8x.
-8x. Okay, the insides,
5x.
plus 5x.
Minus,
Woo!
40.
40, minus 40. Is he done yet?
No, because
No.
it's 8 plus 5. Negative.
These
so
two middle
negative
pieces can multiply or can be put together.
X squared minus 3x
X squared minus 3x
plus minus 40.
minus 40. Now you can check that answer by saying, what can you multiply to get -40, but when you add them, you do -3. Is it -8 and 5?
Yeah.
Yes, you betcha. Right? So this is kind of doing the reverse of what we've been doing before. And there's that. All right, 4 problems left, and then we're done. And we're done for the day. Okay, so I want you to help me out on this. If you flip to the top of the second page on your review, we need to find a GCF problem.
Oh,
So
okay.
which one involves a GCF
22.
of those?
Oh. Not 22, that's difference of squares. Just
Yes.
kidding.
Right, so we'll play that.
3.
What?
Oh, wait, what? No, never mind.
23 is not a GCF.
18? 18?
18 is not a GCF.
No.
What has something that both
23! Nope, that's difference of
I
squares.
already
Just
said 23, Emma.
I wasn't listening.
19.
Which one is a GCF problem?
19.
That both piece has it.
Oh, shoot. I don't know. Oh, 21. Duh.
Sure, 21 is a GCF. Okay, So let's try 21. 7x squared minus 4x equals 0. Okay?
Wait, what? Yeah.
7x squared minus 4x equals 0. Okay? What are you going to pull out?
X.
X. Okay? And left over is
7x minus 4.
7x minus 4. You betcha. There it is. Equals 0. Then what do you do with both of those pieces?
Break it down.
No, he's already broken down.
I
He's
don't
done.
know then.
He's done.
Oh, solve for x. No.
Yeah. How?
Get it by itself.
What?
X.
He's broken down. X.
Over?
No, because then you go back here.
Oh, that's true.
X times 7x minus 4.
Foil?
No, because then you go back up
Oh my
here.
gosh.
We're going to try to get the 4 after.
We're trying to solve for x. We're trying to, like, solve for x.
Make it x. Make it a simple trinomial.
No.
Oh.
What do you do as soon as he's broken down?
Nothing. Oh, you x minus 0.
X
7x
equals 0 and 7x minus 4 equals 0.
How many of each problem are there on here? Are there 2 of each?
I think there's 2 of each, yes. Yes. Okay. So x equals 0. That's
Stop.
one of my answers, but then, how do I solve for x in the second one?
Oh, move 4 over.
Plus 4? Plus 4? So 7x equals 4? Ooh, yuck.
It's gonna be icky.
Divide by 7. Divide by 7, so x
Uh.
equals, just leave him. 4 over 7, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful.
Is our
That's
review
not
gonna be due
beautiful.
tomorrow?
That's not bad.
Is our review
No.
No.
Difference of squares. On that same sheet, those 8 problems, find me a difference of squares.
It's gonna be 22 or 23 because I already
Okay,
did
23.
the
23.
23?
23.
Okay, 23. 23 is 16x squared. You guys are doing all the ones that the other class did not, which is fine.
Haha.
Okay?
So
All
then
right.
we can ask them for the ones we did.
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe.
Emma's
Ha.
a cheater.
Emma's being
Okay.
a bad child.
Difference of squares. You can take the square root of both pieces, right? Okay? So I want to factor him down. I want to break him into 2 little bubbles. So what's the square root of
Wait, will
16?
this have a I though?
No.
Is it negative 169?
No, because when you move him to the other side, he would be 169.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the square root of 16x squared?
4x.
4x. And what's the square root of 169?
I don't know. Over 12, 13, or 14.
13. And one of them is plus and one of them is minus. Does it matter which one I do first? No. So, what do I do now?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Set it equal to 0.
Set it equal to 0, you betcha. So, 4x plus 13 equals 0. All right, and then I
Move it over.
subtract the 13.
So it's
4x
1,
equals, run out of room. 4x equals
13.
negative 13.
Yeah.
And x equals
X equals negative 4 over 13.
negative 13 over 4.
What? Oh, yeah.
Okay, now if I set the other one equal to 0, if I set 4x minus 13 equal to 0, what will my answer gonna be?
It's going to be the opposite. It's just going to be 13 over 4.
it'll be positive 13 over 4. Okay, is it okay if I don't show that work because I'm running out of room?
Yeah.
Okay. Good, good.
Wait, do you want us to rewrite all of this on our paper?
What? Yes.
What?
You betcha.
Why?
Yes, I said so.
Tyler, why do you ask that?
All right. Simple trinomial.
Because I'm kind of stupid sometimes.
Let's go over here. Simple complex.
Shut up.
Find me a simple one.
It's 18.
18, sure. X squared
It looks easy.
minus 4x. All the simple ones are easy.
Oh,
That's why they're simple.
maybe we should do 19 then because it doesn't look as easy.
19 is easy.
Oh.
What do you multiply? So when you're doing simple trinomial, here's the rule.
So 6 times 2.
Multiply to get this, add to get this. That's the
Negative
rule.
Get the last number
Negative
out to get the
6.
middle.
Positive 2.
You break down the
Negative
x.
16.
Sure. Multiply to get 12, add to get 4, or negative 4. And
So,
Emma
negative
said
6 and 2.
negative 6, positive 2. Okay, let's check that before we go any further. Is negative 6 times 2 negative 12?
Sure.
Is negative 6
Yeah.
plus 2 negative 4? Yes, now what?
Oh, it's x equals 6, x equals negative 2.
You betcha. There you go. Okay, one left. Complex.
Wait, I'm still writing.
Okay, you can still write.
So the first thing that you have to do that I always forget is multiply A to C.
What?
All right. So which one are we gonna do? For
Wait,
complex.
I never do that. Oh, 25.
24, 25.
24.
Both for complex. Which one do you want?
24.
24.
Yeah.
25.
Just do 24.
No, 25 looks harder.
Just do 24. They're the
She
same.
says 24.
They're the same.
All right, we'll do 24.
No, they're not. They have different numbers.
24. Here we go. 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Woo. Okay. First step that Emma always forgets. Multiply A and C. Multiply A and C. A is
I don't remember doing this.
2, C is negative 5. So 2 times negative 5 is
Negative 10.
negative 10. All right, I want them to multiply to be negative 10, but when I add them, make 3.
Well, you can have 5.
So I have
and
1
2.
and 10,
Negative
or 2 and 5.
Negative 5, positive 2.
Okay, so negative 5, positive 2. Will that give me negative 3 when I add them?
Sure.
Yes.
You betcha. Okay, so I want the 5 to be negative, right?
Actually, not when you add them.
What?
Yeah.
2 and 5? 2 and negative 5? That makes negative 3. You betcha. Okay, now what do I do? Now that I know that it's 2 and negative 5, now what do I do?
What? Oh, put a 2x
Okay, 2x squared.
minus 5x.
You want to put the minus 5 now next? Or the 2
Sure.
next?
Yeah.
Let's put the 2 next.
Oh.
Plus 2x minus 5x minus 5. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the same answer. Okay? So that middle piece separates into 2. Negative 3x makes 2x and negative 5x. Okay?
Now
And
you
then what
put
do you
it in
do?
parentheses.
Then you group them. Group, group. Okay, so what can you pull out of the first piece?
2x.
2x. And if you pull a 2x out, what's left
is
over?
X plus 1.
1. Yes, make sure you put that 1 in there because it has to hold the place. Right?
And then
You
you
took
can
2x
take-
out of 2x, but you still put a 1 there.
You can take negative 5 out of the next.
You can take negative 5 out of the next.
So it's x plus 1.
So it's x plus 1, and how do I know I did it right?
2x minus 5. They should be the same.
They should be the same, so
And
that's
then
how you know you did it
x
right.
Plus 1.
Okay? So, what did you say the two pieces are?
It's 2x minus 5 and x plus 1.
And x plus 1.
You have to set those equal to
You
0.
do. So if I say 2x minus 5 equals 0, and x plus 1 equals 0.
2x equals 5 and x equals negative 1.
Okay, so add 5, 2x equals 5, I got it. Okay, then what?
It's the 5 x equals 5 over 2.
X equals 5 over 2. There's one of your answers. Okay, and then
X equals 1. Negative 1.
negative 1. Negative 1.
That's what I meant.
Negative 1. Now, my final question to you, most important question of the whole day.
Yeah.
What do these two numbers, and these two numbers, and these two numbers,
They're
and
roots.
these two numbers do
They're roots.
for me?
Show where it hits the x-axis.
Yes, that's where my parabola is going to cross.
They are
Yes.
roots. They are solutions.
They
They
are
are zeros.
They
They
are
are
X-intercepts. That's what we're finding this whole
Chapter.
time.
Oh.
The whole time. The whole chapter basically is finding that. Okay? There you go. All right. So, with the rest of the time left, like 10 minutes, you can use it to work on your sheet. We're going to do the next 3 sections tomorrow for notes. But that should get you at least through number 25. So you should be able to get through number 20. Really, you should be able to do all of it, right? Because you've had these sections before. But with what we did today, you have through 25, yeah?
Yeah.
25? 25, yep. There you go. So use the rest of the time to work on your review, okay? Or use the rest of the time to take the ones that we did in class and write them down on your review.
How many
Because you
did
get
we
free
do?
points for that.
1, 2, 3.
I don't know, quite a few. We did
5,
4 just in the last one. 5,
8.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We did 9 of them.
Wait,
On
what?
3
Wait.
point
Together.
Oh, yeah, 9.
Oh.
I see where it is.